Hey guys, good afternoon. This will be my midday video for Thursday the 6th, start of opening day of football. Remember to get your PTT Journey pick'em on the Yahoo site. Um, get those games in opening season tonight. I'm going to be a little bit out of touch for a few hours tonight. I've told folks I'm going to be in fantasy football draft with my childhood best friend. I've been in for 30-something years, so that'll take up some hours tonight. But today's been a really interesting day. Some decent stories to share with you. One of Jim's special random observations and requests. So, you guys, most of you know, I was at a concert at the Hard Rock Cafe last night, and it was really a good time and met some great folks. And got up early today in the dark, and it was downpouring rain. And the problem with getting to the Hard Rock was I had to go back east where I'd already been, about 18 miles. So not being able to get back into town tomorrow, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had to double back, and with Sapulpa a good 18-20 miles from where I wasn't going to be able to make it all in one day. So my thoughts were running wild a little bit as to how to make that happen. And so it went kind of like this, and it really was sometimes God works in strange ways how things happen. So I was several miles from the bus depot. Journey friend Eric met me yesterday, and it was about several miles, about 4.5 miles from the bus depot. I was able to take that, walk through the rain and get there, whatnot. And the bus got me. I got, with Eric's help, got back into downtown Tulsa, and made my way out from there. And the weather was on and off. I was out of use of my phone a little bit early in the day. You can see there's some sunshine behind me now. I'm not sure what's better when I get out west. I hear it's 100 degrees, but it's a clean 100 degrees. It's not humid, it's dry, I guess they say. So I'm not sure 100 degrees dry or this 80, 85 super humid weather is tough. But moving along, there were a few stories that I thought were pretty cool. I didn't get to see them. Eric was shared some pictures I got to post here a little bit later on. But you know, sometimes there's things about towns that I don't even know about. For example, I was up in Cleveland on a mini vacation a couple of years back, and tripped upon the house from oh good Lord, excuse me, The Christmas Story. So Eric was telling me a little bit about some of the things here in Tulsa. There was an old church that was bought by a recording artist, and it just escaped me now. Leon Redbone. Anyway, he turned it into a recording studio, and it became one of the recording studios that was the go-to place around town. And he recently sold it to somebody who's now renovating it, and the city bought it back. But it was really cool. He told me the story about that. He sent me a picture there. The other one is if you know the name S.E. Hinton, who was an author, and she wrote, among other things, one you guys may know, turned into a movie called The Outsiders. And apparently the house was right here in Tulsa, and the park where they filmed the Rumble scene and the whole thing was right there in Tulsa. So Eric shared that with me, sent me a couple pictures I got to post for you guys later on. Then also, as I was getting through, there was the Wayman Tisdale School of Fine Arts, I want to say, or Academy of Fine Arts, and that was pretty neat. And as a sports guy, Wayman Tisdale was apparently a Tulsa. I didn't know that. He was a Tulsa native and an All-American basketball player at Oklahoma University, and he went on to the NBA and did a lot of things. Unfortunately, he died very young. I think he died from complications from radiation. I think he had like a leg amputated at one point, but that wasn't, I don't think, the reason why. I'm not sure if it was cancer. But if I remember correctly, he had gotten some complications from a surgery or procedure. But he was a very cultured guy, and I don't know if he started the facility or if it was just named in honor of him. I just think it's pretty cool when you know, community and the athletes of the day come back to the community and share with them. So to those of you that are sports fans, you may remember Wayman Tisdale. In fact, if I remember correctly, he was on the '88 Oklahoma team that lost to Danny Manley in Kansas in the national championship game. And they were heavy favorites, partially because Wayman was an All-American. He might have been a freshman that year himself, I think. Yeah, he might have been a freshman in '88. Anyway, so there's some really neat things from that standpoint that have excuse me, it's hot, guys. That was part of Tulsa, and but there were a couple of things I thought that were even more telling for me. The things that mattered to me, the little hidden message, and observing people, and I'm just tripping all over myself. I apologize. So one of the things is I don't think I've ever ridden a bus in my life. Maybe once, maybe never, as far as a public bus. And you know, I take my hat off to these folks, because these folks didn't choose to take a bus because, you know, they left their BMW in the garage and it was raining and they didn't want to get it dry. You know, taking a bus and public transportation for these folks is a way of life. And you know, when you grow up and you just run out to your driveway, get in your car, go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to do it, it's kind of a neat thing. And we take for granted, just one of those little things we take for granted, you know. These folks have to plan, whether like I do, you know, they got to get to a bus stop by a certain time. You know, it's just kind of a tough grind. It's not a quick. They got multiple stops before they get there, and there's a certain element on it was almost like like if you had a hidden camera and there was a certain, like a different, not a different world, but it'd almost be like an interesting sitcom, almost like, you know, on the bus and all the different personalities that come on, and it was just fascinating to sit back and people watch, and quite honestly, I was people watched quite a bit. So it's kind of neat to see that and talk to a few folks. A couple of folks had no interest in talking. I mean, I usually like make eye contact with, I try to, I think that's important, to make eye contact with everybody and kind of nod your head and say hello. And I did that to a couple of folks. They just stared right back, right through me. They didn't want no part of smiling, saying hello, or any of that. So, but then I thought what was fascinating was, well, at the bus stop, I was talking to somebody, and this one topic is really the one that got me thinking for the day. And it just seems to keep coming up, and it had me thinking while I was on the bus. So what happened was, this person was telling me about their daughter, who's a college student and was a relatively, you know, brilliant young person, and young lady who's actually had a full ride, or does have a full ride to university, but sometime in her senior year, started to fall into depression. And like I said, you know, we talk about and we embrace things like, and I don't want to say we embrace it, but we recognize the unfortunate ways of cancer and leukemia and diabetes and all of these things. But it seems like when it comes to mental illness, there's still this stigma. And to hear the person's story was amazing to me, because it was a father, and noticed these things. I thought there was a few things that were really telling about this story that struck me. First of all, the young lady was an honor student and always was outgoing and gregarious, and then all of a sudden she started to become introverted and not wanting to go to school, and started hurting herself. And you know, it's a tough call, because as a parent you kind of see signs, but you don't really, a lot of these people hide that from you. But so many people that suffer in some capacity, some kind of mental illness, they want to deny that they have it or push it away, or I guess they're afraid of being judged. And this young lady went to her folks and said, look, I'm struggling. And again, that's kind of pointing the thumb at themselves, owning who they are. I've got an issue, I have to acknowledge it. Like my friend Dr. Phil says, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So for a young person in particular, with society stigmas, to be able to reach out to a parent has to be a very, very special relationship. And then he was telling me, and I couldn't imagine this as a dad, got to the point where, I don't want to use the term committed, but he had to take her and leave her at a psych evaluation hospital, and had no contact for 2 weeks. And man, I mean, I couldn't even imagine the courage that it takes to do something like that. And as it turns out, it helped her significantly. She got to speak to some people. She's got on some medication. She's much better. But to this day, she still has her dark moments, and it's always a fear. A few towns back, I think I told a story about a young man who was on the rodeo circuit and had his bouts with chemical dependency and beat them, but always had this depression. And you know, he saw his town folks at the rodeo Friday and Saturday, and you know, Sunday morning reached out to his sister at 2 a.m. She couldn't get the call, and by morning he'd hung himself. It's just such a dark thing. And I was so taken by the fact that this young lady had the courage to speak to her parents, the strength it takes her parents to have to drop her off at a hospital to be evaluated, and then and I was telling them, I said, in a way, you might have saved her life, because for people that go undiagnosed, it gets to a really dark place. And then I started to look around. I got dropped off from the center of town is the downtown, bus depot, and there tends to be a congregation of people that are a little bit down on their luck, and I don't know if it's needy. I don't know if it's a place they go because they can sleep. I don't know if it's just they know there's a lot of people there. Maybe they can get some love and money or food. I don't know. But I was looking around at that group of people, and again, in my previous life, in my everyday life, we live in these middle class communities, and we get in our car and we go, and as I said yesterday, I was watching these two folks and people just walking right by them. Sorry, I'm sweating the storm here, guys. And I looked around, and I don't know this for a fact, it's just me talking, but I would probably guess that maybe 30%, maybe even 40% of those people there had some form of mental illness. It just seemed it's judgmental on my part, because I'm just going by what they look like and how they seem to carry themselves. But even if it's only 10%, think about that for a minute. That of what a portion of a population would suffer from stuff like that. So it just had me thinking. Into a lot of crazy thoughts in terms of what a crazy it is. I am, sir. Yes, sir. You did. How are you today? I'm just doing a video right now. Let me give you my card, and can I get on camera with you here?
Yeah.
What's your name, buddy?
Jay Spiller.
Jay, very nice to meet you, bud.
Nice to
Pleasure.
meet you.
So this is Jay, who just rolled up on me here, just on the outskirts of Sapulpa, and I guess you heard about me, somebody on the news.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, sir.
Well, I have a little business called Jay Spiller Leathers, and I'm disabled. Okay. And I wander around town selling things.
Well, that's not a bad deal. I'm gonna drip on you here, Jay. I'm sorry about that. I won't be dripping on you. And, so how the disability, is it something that's you've always had, or is it new to you? Or?
Yeah, I had it since '94.
'94? Yeah. Anything service related or anything, or no?
No, not service related. No?
Are you a Buffalo Bills fan, just like the shirt?
Yes, sir.
You are. Opening week Saturday. Sunday, rather.
Sunday.
I'm
Buffalo Bills fan all the way.
Are you from up that way? You're out this way your whole life, or?
I'm from up that way. Yeah, I've been out here since 2012.
Since 2012, how you like it out here?
I like it. It's nice. Buffalo's a nice town.
Yeah, I just getting into the outskirts of it. Looks real pretty. So see what lies ahead for me here. So
yeah, this is not much for town.
No, pretty quiet.
But, yeah, it's pretty quiet.
Those are the stories, man. Those are the stories. You guys are the stories, my friend. So I appreciate you welcoming. Nice. Yeah.
If you drink, there's a bar over there called Pat's Place.
Pat's Place?
It's a really friendly crowd. A lot of motorcycle enthusiasts go in there, but they're really friendly.
I got no problem with that.
Meet some nice people.
Well, I'll stop in and say hello and see what we got.
Yeah, so, Brett's the bartender.
Brett, I'm just gonna tell him you sent me. How's that sound?
All right.
I'll just drop you down. We'll do some name dropping in town. Are you? So this is what you do? Just kind of cruise up and down the streets and
sell
go around and sell leather and just
state clients I go by.
Yeah. You have a website or anything like that?
I just use my Facebook page.
Just your Facebook page? Yeah. Which is just your name?
Yeah, Jay Spiller.
Jay Spiller, S-P-I-L-L-E-R?
Yep.
All right. So guys, Jay Spiller, check out his Facebook page, like him, and see what kind of goods he puts out there. So, well, I appreciate you welcoming me to town, sir. And let me finish this up, and then I'll probably catch up a little bit later on. Pleasure's mine, bud. Thank you very much. It's really sweet of you.
You have a good day.
Thank you, sir. You as well, sir. Hey guys, so sorry about that, but yeah, Jay just came by to say hello as I'm on the outskirts recording my midday here. And just so you know, there he goes downtown. But I had one more random thought before I wrapped it up. Like I said, I was talking about mental illness, and I want to wrap that up. But here was my goofy Jim Smith random thought of the day. So I was coming across the Arkansas River and looking, and it made me think. I remember back in the day, I saw on, I think it might have been on ESPN, they have these guys that go catfishing called noodlers. I don't know if they're, if it's even legal or illegal, but these guys basically jump into a river, they dive under the water, stick their hands into a rock like I'm doing right now, until a catfish bites onto it, a big catfish, and they pull it out that way, and that's how they go catfishing. And I'd always heard about it. So here's my request for today. So if any of you good old boys out here in Oklahoma are noodlers, I don't want to noodle with you, but I would love to go spend an afternoon putting you guys on camera here and watching you guys in action. So there's the word for the day. If you guys are from Sapulpa or know anybody out here in central Oklahoma that wants to go noodling, show me how it's done. I would love to see that. So love you guys. Have a great day. I'll finish up some more thoughts later on, and have a great day, folks. Bye-bye now.